For those of you who are starting or who own a business in the state of California, having a California seller's permit is an incredibly important step in the process for those of you that are selling tangible products. I am going to walk you through exactly who needs a California seller's permit and how to apply. We're going to go through the application step by step to make it simple, easy, and less intimidating for you so that you can get your seller's permit filed today. A California seller's permit is a permit that allows you to sell tangible products in the state of California, collect sales tax from your customers, and then requires you to file regular sales and use tax returns with the CDTFA and remit that sales tax that was collected over to the CDTFA. California seller's permits are handled by the CDTFA, the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. First, let's talk about exactly who is required to apply for and hold a California seller's permit. A few different criteria that you need to look at in order to determine if you must register for and hold a California seller's permit. Number one, if you plan on making 3 or more tangible sales within a 12-month period, then you are required to hold a California seller's permit. Once you are no longer making sales, then you must close it out. Number two, you need to look at if you are selling tangible or intangible products. Tangible products are going to be actual physical goods that you provide to the customer, while intangible products are going to be products that do not have any sort of a physical component. Now, there's a gray area here that confuses a lot of people. What if a customer or a client purchases services and there is no tangible product, but then later on down the line, those services result in the creation of a tangible product that is purchased later? In this case, if that labor is going to result in the creation of a tangible product, then all of that labor is taxable as well. An example of this would be if you are a photographer, your services that later on down the line result in the creation, printing, and sale of a photo album would then need to be taxed. Because you are obligated to pay this sales tax, you must hold a California seller's permit. The next thing that you need to take into consideration is, are you selling through the use of a marketplace facilitator? A marketplace facilitator is a third-party organization that technically handles the sales transactions for you, but very specifically, they also handle the sales tax. A marketplace facilitator is going to be not only a company that handles those transactions, but they must collect and remit the sales tax to the CDTFA directly. If the marketplace that you are using is collecting and remitting the sales tax on their own, that sales tax is collected, but it never comes to you, then they are a marketplace facilitator. An example of a marketplace facilitator would be Etsy, where Etsy is actually the one transacting the sales and collecting and sending that sales tax over to the CDTFA. If you're using a marketplace facilitator, you do not need to hold a California seller's permit and you do not need to remit additional sales tax. Why? Because the marketplace facilitator is technically the one transacting the sale and responsible for the sales tax. Keep in mind, however, that if you are utilizing a third-party platform such as Shopify or Squarespace, they are allowing you to create your own shop, transact your own sales, and you are responsible for remitting that sales tax. They do not remit it for you. If you're wondering if your specific platform is a marketplace facilitator, then all of these platforms typically have this information addressed in their frequently asked questions section. Go to their information and search for marketplace facilitator or for sales tax, and you should be able to locate this information. Now, some of you may be wondering, what if you only plan on conducting temporary sales, such as selling at a craft fair or a pop-up shop? What if you do not permanently need a seller's permit? You are still required to obtain a seller's permit. However, if your sales and your situation is going to be temporary, you can obtain a temporary seller's permit as opposed to a regular long-term seller. After you obtain your California seller's permit, the CDTFA is going to issue you a reporting schedule. This is going to be the required schedule that you then must adhere to for filing your sales and use tax returns and paying that sales tax over to the CDTFA. This schedule differs. For some businesses, you're going to be on a yearly reporting schedule. For others, it's going to be quarterly, and there's a few other variables. The CDTFA will let you know what your reporting schedule is once you apply for and obtain your seller's permit. When it comes time for you to file your sales and use tax return, you are going to have to do this with the CDTFA online. I have a video that instructs you exactly how to do this linked in the comments down below. Keep in mind that even if you have 0 transactions, $0 in sales, you are still required to file this return in accordance with your reporting schedule. Because you're required to collect and remit this sales tax over to the CDTFA with your returns, you need to make sure that you fully understand exactly how much to charge for sales tax and how to set that sales tax aside in a separate bank account that you will not touch until tax time. Planning for this can be a little difficult, but it's incredibly important that you understand exactly how much taxes to set aside and not to touch it until tax time. This is why I always recommend creating a separate business savings account specifically for your tax money so that you are not tempted or make a mistake to utilize it. If you create a separate bank account and transfer all of your tax money into that account, it makes it so much easier to set it aside and leave it until it's time to pay your taxes. Now, the CDTFA has all of the exact tax rates listed on their website. I'm going to link this document in the description down below so that you can make sure that you are well informed on exactly how much sales tax to charge and set aside. Next, I'm going to show you the full application walkthrough online to get your seller's permit. I strongly recommend that you play this video while you are applying and pause it each step of the way while you complete the steps. It's going to make the process so much easier and less intimidating. Now, once you have completed, first you're going to go to the CDTFA's website at cdtfa.ca.gov. Right here, you're going to click on Register Online in the Register for a Permit section. Next, we're going to click Register a New Business Activity. You are going to then select that you are the owner of the business and click Next. Next, they're going to ask you if you have received a letter in the mail with a security code for the business to which you are requesting to access. In most cases, this is going to be a no. Next, you're going to enter in your information. Now, your identification type here, you can select which type of ID you would like to use, and then you will enter it in the next box. Next, you're going to enter in your last name, your first name, your middle name, and your title. This is all your personal information, not your business information. Next, you're going to select if you have an existing permit, a license, or account with the CDTFA, whether it be active or closed. So if you held a permit previously, then you'll select yes, or if you currently hold another one, then you select yes, and if not, you will select no. Next, you're going to be asked to enter in your primary address. So this is going to be your own personal address. This does not need to be the same as your business address. Next, you're going to be asked to enter in your login information. This is going to be the creation of a username, confirming the username, creating a password, creating a security question, and confirming your secret answer to that security question. After you've completed this step, click Next. Next, enter in your email and your phone contact information. Next, you will be asked to complete an authentication. So you're going to go ahead and select if you would like that to occur through text message, email, or both, and enter in the information here. From here, your account has been created. Next, we're going to go back to the cdtfa.ca.gov homepage. We're going to click Log In. Now, if you have not yet confirmed your email, your screen is going to look like this. You are going to need to go over to your email and click the authentication button that is sent directly to your email. Once you have obtained the code that was sent to your email, you can enter it in directly here. Click if you trust this browser, and then click Log On. That's because we have We have now created the account, but we still must complete and file the application for the seller's permit. In order to do that, on the right-hand side, we're going to click Register a New Business Activity. Next, we are going to select the first option here to apply for a seller's permit. Click Next, and on the next screen, you are going to be asked a series of questions about your business. Go ahead and answer them with a yes or a no according to how you would answer for your business. On the next page, there are a few additional similar questions. Go ahead and complete those, how they relate to your business, and then click Next. Next, you're going to be asked if the application is for the person or the entity listed below. This is going to show the person's name that has created the account here. Now, if you are a sole proprietor, meaning that you have not registered as a partnership, as an LLC, as a corporation, then you will select yes. However, if you have filed the registration to be an LLC or another type of business entity, you will select no. Click Next, and then you will be able to select from the list the type of business entity that you have, such as an LLC, a partnership, or a corporation. Next, you're going to be asked to provide all identifying numbers for your business. Now, if you are registered as an LLC, then you will have a federal EIN number. If you have not yet obtained an EIN number, you can do so for free in about 5 minutes over at irs.gov. The federal EIN number is required if you listed yourself as an LLC or other business entity that requires the use of an EIN. Additionally listed here is a state employer identification number. If you have employees and you have received an SEIN, then you can enter it in here. If you do not have a state EIN, then you may leave this blank. Next, you're going to enter in your California Secretary of State entity number. This is the number that was assigned to you when you formed your LLC or other business entity. If you do not have it on hand, you can use the Secretary of State Business Lookup tool, and you will be able to see that number on public record. Now, if you have registered yourself with the Secretary of State, but you do not have your Secretary of State number on file or on hand, you can go ahead and look yourself up at bizfileonline.sos.gov/search/business. Go ahead and enter in your business name, and right below that, you will be able to locate yourself right here. Here you can see the number that corresponds with your Secretary of State business registration, and that is the number that you need. Now, for those of you that have not formed an LLC, a partnership, or another form of business entity, if you are yourself just running the business on your own, then you will be a sole proprietor. Now, sole proprietors are going to see this screen, which looks a little bit different. Here, you're going to be asked for your primary identification type. You can select from various forms of ID numbers, such as a social security number, an ITIN, or an ID such as a passport or a driver's license number. Underneath that, you're going to see FEIN. This is a federal employer identification number, and it is not required for sole proprietors. You can leave this blank, or you can obtain a free EIN number from irs.gov. SEIN is also not required for sole proprietors because this stands for a state employer identification number and will apply if you have employees and have obtained one of these. You can simply leave it blank if you do not have one. You're going to enter in your secondary identification type. Go ahead and select whichever one you would like to choose from the list and enter in the corresponding number. Unless you are changing from one type of business entity to another, you will select no. Next, you're going to be asked if your business will be accepting credit card payments. Now, it's okay if you end up using different or a variety of credit card processors. They simply want you to enter this information in here. It doesn't mean that you're going to be bound to using this one forever. Next, you're going to be asked to add in your NAICS code. This is a business code that describes the type of business operations that occur within your business. Click Add Code, and then you may search for a keyword that represents the type of business activity that you do. Next, you're going to enter in if your location is for a temporary event. If you want a permanent seller's permit, then click No. Next, you're going to be asked for your business location. This is not your personal address. This is your business location. Next, you're going to be asked to enter in your doing business as name. In many cases, you may have registered a different business name from your own personal name or from the currently registered business name. Enter in whatever name you will be doing business under. Next, enter in the seller's permit start date when you would like the permit to begin. Answer yes or no to if you are buying or transferring an existing business. If you have additional business locations and you operate out of more than one location, then you can go ahead and enter yes and enter those in as well. But if you only have one business location, you're going to click no. Next, they're going to ask you for supplier information. You must enter in one supplier at least. It is okay if you do not actually end up using this supplier. It is okay if you end up using more than one supplier. They just want to have a record entered in here for a supplier that you plan to use. So go ahead and search whatever supplier you find online that you feel that you might be likely to order something from for your business. Next, read the declaration of intent and make sure that you sign it and click next. Once you have signed that and finished up the application, then the CDTFA will notify you when your permit has been approved. You can continue to check your online account for any updates as well. Okay, you guys, I hope that was helpful. If it was, let me know in the comments down below. Additionally, if you have questions, I am always happy to reply to your comments, so please make sure you ask them down below as well. Next, I want you to click on this video that is popping up on screen that has some important information regarding seller's permits.